Hello guys, I welcome you to my lesson for today where we'll be looking at mathematics, a chapter called Analytical Geometry. So again, this is a master class where all grade 10s, 11 and 12 learners are invited to this lesson. And most importantly, just in case if you are upgrading your mathematics, you are welcome to join today's lesson. So guys, just in case if you're watching this lesson on my YouTube channel, just make sure to subscribe so that every time when I upload my latest lessons, you will be able to quickly I noticed someone has got their mics unmuted. I just had to mute it. So guys, make sure to subscribe so that every time when I upload my latest lesson, you are able to quickly catch up. And again, hit that bell notification to be notified of every upload. So obviously in today's lesson, we'll be looking at question number 4. So we are given a statement over there, followed by a diagram and also the question. So what I want us to do in today's lesson is to go through that given statement, read it through, have a look at the diagram, also go through all of those questions, and most importantly, guys, the marks allocated to each question, they also say a lot. You know, questions versus marks allocated, it's more like we know we can speak with our mouths. So I'm just trying to give an example of which I'm thinking about now. So we verbally talk, or we talk verbally by taking out words through our mouth. But in real life, we know that is not the only way of communicating. In silence, someone can still communicate. You can read through someone's emotion to tell whether they are good or not. So even with the question paper, guys, the questions, it's more like a verbal communication. So the marks allocated, it's more like emotions. So that means with the marks allocated, you are able to tell in terms of the amount of work required for each question. And again, it guides you in terms of which question requires more work. So you shouldn't see yourself doing a lot of calculations for a question which is allocated just 1 mark, and you do less of calculations for a question allocated, let's say, for example, 5 marks. So we just need to be realistic on that. Good people, question 4 reads as follows. In the diagram, so remember guys, in case if you want to see where I'm reading, just click on back and check that image that I sent in the group. But otherwise, you can just listen, because as I read, you might not be able to see what's going on over there. So in the diagram below, so this is the diagram that they are referring to. F, remember, that letter F is actually a point. So someone please mute your mic. So F, it's a point which has got the coordinates. Remember, the coordinates are represented by X and Y. So this is what we call the coordinates. So F has got the coordinates of 2 and -2. So that means X is positive, Y is negative. It has to be a point on the 4th quadrant. So G has got the coordinates +5 and +2, which means it has to be a point on the 1st quadrant. And C has got the coordinates 6 and Y. So we just know that the X value is 6, then we know it's on this side. But in terms of Y, because already it's a diagram with a point given there, that means that Y value, if we get to a point where the question says calculate the y value, you must get a negative answer. If you get a positive answer, ladies and gentlemen, it means somewhere, somehow, you've done some wrong calculations. So when it comes to analytical geometry, guys, just be aware of the kind or the type of an answer that you are expecting. In that way, you are able to visualize exactly what you should be expecting as part of your final answer. So let's proceed. They say all of these 3 points are the vertices of triangle FGC. So remember, guys, on yesterday's lesson we said the word vertices refers to the corners of any shape. So that means 1, 2, 3 are the vertices of what? A triangle. So that shape refers to a triangle. Let's proceed. So the statement continues to say FG is perpendicular to FC. So let's check. Where is F? There is F, there is G. So that means that line is perpendicular to that line. Guys, the reason to that is because obviously, in addition to what we can see on that statement, we've got that which shows a 90-degree angle. So just make sure that even if it wasn't stated, but because of that, you are able to notice that these 2 lines are perpendicular to each other. So let's now proceed. So N is a point on FG such that the inclination of NC is 104 0.04 degrees. Guys, be very, very careful of something. Someone in this group is going to think that N is the midpoint between F and G, just because it's a point closer to the middle of that line. Ladies and gentlemen, be very, very careful. If it is not stated that a certain point on the given diagram is the midpoint of 2 points, never assume without a valid reason that that particular point is in the middle of the 2 points. I hope that makes perfect sense to everyone. If I was in class, I was going to ask if you are kwala komorao, because I'm sure some of you in this group, you've got a seat at the back. Let me just check who has attended. Basitsana, ya kwala komorao. Is it clear there at the back? Shreyas, is it clear there at the back? Let me just see who managed to attend today's lesson.
It is clear, sir.
Kevin, siyazwana lapho. Lerato, hamba njani lapho? Let's see, we've got Precious, Wasitsana, Sisi, Popas, Lebogang, Ntle Cable, Tando, Kevin, Tangas, Lerato, Dumi, Sajesh, Lady Grace, DC, Zandi, Lebnentle, Aya, LB, Howell, Tombi, Surprise, Mr. Tibu, Siwit, Lamin, Rato, Zanda. Guys, are we all on the same page up to this point? I just wanted to quickly check who managed to attend today's lesson.
It's like, can you explain again?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, 100%. So remember, I had someone saying, can I explain again? Remember, I'm still reading the given statement. So the other thing of which I'm not sure of is, just in case if you attended in the middle of the lesson, but I think based on the previous lessons that we had, what I've just explained, it should make sense to everyone. Otherwise, remember, guys, in case if you joined the lesson a little bit later, this lesson is being recorded and you will be able to catch up. So it's unfortunate in some instances, I might not happily re-explain everything unless if the request was specific in a sense that you specify which part you did not understand. I'm just not sure if there's someone who's got their mics unmuted. You see how Lucretius, she is not controlling her mic, of which is something that we discourage. So let's now continue. Madam Speaker, I'm just reading through the given statement. So in this case, I'm trying to explain to you guys that N is a point on FG. So there we've got 2 points, which is FG, and there we've got a point named N. So they say N is a point on FG such that the inclination of NC, there is NC, is 104,04 degrees. So there is the angle that they are talking about as a result of the inclination of NC. So there's that straight line of these 2 points of N and C, and it forms that angle which is called an inclination of NC. The angle formed is 104,04 degrees. So let's now read the last part of that given statement. They say the angle of inclination of FG is beta. So the angle of inclination of FG. So that means this is a point which is F, this is a point which is G. So there is that angle which is called beta. And again, they say in triangle FNC, there is FNC. Angle N is called or is equals to theta. Okay, I hope that part makes sense. So just to further explain to you guys, if they say, for example, FNC and they do that smaller thing, this thing, in short, it simply means in triangle FNC. So you must identify the 3 points, which is F and FNC. So there is F, there is N, there is C. The letter which is being written in the middle, it means they are talking about an angle at that vertex or at that corner. So for example, this is that C, N, and F. So already they said it's 90-degree angle there. So because this letter is in the middle, it means they are talking about that angle over there, of which that angle, guys, they call it angle theta. Very, very much important that you are able to notice the angle that they are talking about. Guys, in mathematics, this means angle. This means parallel. And you must know that parallel lines have got the same gradient. So this sign means perpendicular, and we know that with perpendicular, a gradient of line 1, when you multiply it with gradient of line 2, must be equal to -1. So unlike with parallel lines, we say the gradients are equal. Therefore, a line 1 and line 2 must have the same gradients. And remember, guys, I said this is what we call the coordinates. So, for example, if you go to Google Maps and someone says, give me the coordinates. So, or otherwise they say, send me your location. A location is made of the X and the Y points. For example, if this is the Earth and we have those lines, you know very well, guys, that we've got the longitudes and the latitudes. So we know that the Earth is it's a circular shape. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And let's say this part is Limpopo, this is Gauteng, this is maybe that side of Cape Town or whatever. And someone says, give me your location. If you are somewhere, let's say somewhere there, then it means if we assume this to be the x. Then you can say I'm between 4 and 5. Then you can say maybe 4.5. We know we are referring to the x or the horizontal. Then in terms of the vertical, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3.5. Then you are somewhere 3.5. We know the y. Then from there, we know exactly where you are. Then someone who's studying pilot, they are going to use this x value and that y value to determine the direction or the angle in which they must fly. So if someone is there and they want to get to that location, they will just use a triangle, guys. Then from there, they will determine the angle formed. Then they will know from the airport they must fly at a certain angle. Then they use theorem of Pythagoras to say at that angle you must fly for, let's say, 400 kilometers. Then we use physical sciences to convert all of this information, the distance and the time, to calculate the speed. Then we say for you to get to Lerato in KZN, you must be traveling at that angle at a speed of whatever, and it must take you this long. So the moment you fly for about an hour, just know that you will reach the airport in KZN. Guys, I was just giving you a background of what we use these things for. So don't worry that much about that. It's not part of your syllabus. But let's now focus on the business of the day. So question 4.1 says, calculate the gradient of FG. Remember, guys, what is the cream of the question? The cream of the question is that weight or those weights. When removed from the question, the whole of the question will not make a sense. Otherwise, you need that specific weight in order to understand exactly what the examiner wants you to calculate. So that means in this case, the cream of the question is the gradient. And this question, ladies and gentlemen, it's allocated 2 marks. What does it mean? If gradient is the cream of the question, guys, first and first, write the gradient. Which gradient are they talking about? They are talking about the gradient of FG. So that means you focus on these 2 points. Therefore, let's write the formula for the gradient. We know is change in y over change in x. And I've explained multiple times previously that between these 2 letters, you just need to know which one comes first and which one comes second. Normally, when the question is asked, they normally write in alphabetical order. So that means F comes first, this comes second. So when you substitute there, your y2 and your x2 are going to be for the coordinates of G. Your y1 and your x1 are going to be for the coordinates of F. And most importantly, it doesn't matter whether you do vice versa, you are still going to get the same answer. You just need to be careful and not swap those. So let's see. What is our y2? Obviously, it's that 2 over there minus what is our y1? Can you see? It's negative 2. Someone is going to say negative 2, which is a very big mistake. So imagine, guys, if we had to calculate or perform calculations to find the angle in order to fly to KZN, and you make such a silly mistake, guys. Then we perform calculations and everything. Then you have to quickly fly the president to KZN. Can you see, guys, with this mistake, I'm telling you, you are going to take the president to Zimbabwe. When you get there, people will be shocked, guys, to say, what is the president doing here? Is it the Nigerians or the Zimbabweans who speak? I think it's the Nigerians, guys. They'll be asking, what are you doing, you? How did you get to... Guys, this chapter is very, very interesting, guys. It's an interesting chapter. I'm just thinking of a situation that we're discussing sometime with my teacher when I was in high school. There was a very funny situation where, because of incorrect calculations, we fly to different places. Remember, we didn't have to physically fly to somewhere. With just calculations, guys, you can go wherever you want. So the point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is that, let's see, you have your y2 as 2. Then this minus is from the formula. Then you now need to substitute your y1, which is negative 2. Always make sure to put it in brackets. Then let's see, what is our x2, guys? There is our x2. So just make sure that as I do this, you are also doing the same calculation. So there we've got our x1. So guys, the trick here is that when you have a negative value, substitute it in brackets. But if it's a positive value, it doesn't really matter that much. So good people, when you punch all of this, what are you guys getting? And again, guys, did you guys understand that statement of flying the president to the wrong location? Did it make sense, or was it a bit
It did.
confusing for you guys?
It did, sir. It did make sense.
100%. So what are we getting there?
4/3, sir.
4/3.
4/3. Are we all getting the same answer?
Yes, sir.
4/3, sir.
100%. So for that reason, guys, I'm going to give you 2 marks. And those marks come from you substituting correctly, and again, your correct final answer. So you don't need to write your answer in a form of a decimal. It's fine as that fraction. So let's just write it somewhere there to say the gradient of fg is equals to 4/3, because somewhere we might need that information. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone is happy with that. So just make sure that in case if you've got a question, unmute your mic, mention your name, go for it, mute your mic. So don't wait for me to respond, just do that, then I'll get the question. So now let's move to question 4.2. Remember, guys, most importantly, follow the numbering system used in the question paper. Do not write a 2 there, because if you write 2, we are no longer sure if you are answering a question set by someone else. So just make sure that whoever set the question paper, if they say this is 4.2, make sure it's 4.2. So the second question says calculate the value of y. And this question is allocated 3 marks. So guys, what can we say for now about that y value? Is there someone who's got an idea of what we can say or what to expect as part of our final answer with regards to y? Not necessarily explaining how to answer that question. Or maybe let me do it this way, guys. If there's someone who wants to attempt that question, so this is what you're going to do. You just mention what to expect with regards to that y, and then again you try to explain in terms of how you would solve this type of a question. And remember, guys, I'm expecting both correct and wrong answers. So just make sure that whatever answer that you provide is something that is originally coming from your mind. I've noticed that if you always give me correct answers, we just proceed. But for some of you who are giving attempts which are closer but not correct answers, I'm able to further expand my explanation, and that's how we learn some more. So just make sure that you give me that wrong answer. It's welcomed. So guys, this is what you're going to do. You just mention your name if you want to give it a try. Then I'm going to recognize one of you. Then that's when you can give me an answer. Guys, anyone to give it a try, just mention your name.
This is Grace. Why we should get
negative value, then I think we have to use a midpoint formula to solve for y. I'm not sure.
Okay, thanks very much, Grace. But remember, guys, um, she she mentioned her name and went for it. So remember, Grace, in this lesson, we've got some. I'm just not sure of how many attended, but if we've got, let's say, 10 members who attended this lesson, the reason why I want you guys to mention your name is because you are obviously in different locations. So the message or whatever that I'm saying now, to some of the learners who are attending, it might get to them after a few seconds. The message might be delayed. So when you mention your name, everyone has got an opportunity to participate. So you might find that you get the message earlier than everyone, and when you comment, it sounds like you want to go for it. So that's why I'm saying, if you want to give it a try, mention your name, then you keep quiet. From there, after everyone has mentioned their name, I'm just going to choose one. Then from there, they give it a try. Either one or two or three. Doesn't really matter that much. So Grace has given it a try. Thanks very much. He says the y value negative, and we use the midpoint formula to calculate for y. So another one to give it a try. Mention your name. Okay. In that case, I'm just going to give it a try and see if what I'll be saying is going to make sense to everyone. So let's see, Grace, you are 100% correct. We are expecting a negative y value. Why? Because the y falls on the fourth quadrant, where we know x is positive and y is negative. So this is where you need to be streetwise, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, guys, normally in mathematics and physical sciences, the question previously asked, it can be your savior to the next question. Very, very much important, guys. So with reference to the previous question, they wanted us to calculate the gradient of that line. What do we know about this line in relation to that line? We know very well that these two lines are perpendicular to each other. Very, very much important, guys. And what do we know about two lines being perpendicular to each other? We know that the gradient of line 1 multiplied by the gradient of line 2 is equals to negative 1. And again, guys, I do have the gradient of the first line. What is it? It's 3 over 4. So that means I already know, sorry guys, it's 4 over 3 multiplied by, do I know the gradient of that line? And answer to that question is a big no. But we can just make use of these values to substitute on the formula for the gradient and write it in a form of y. In that way, we can formulate everything and solve for y. So what is the gradient formula? It says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and the whole of that will be equated to negative 4. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see. You don't have to perform that same calculation because you've already calculated on the previous question. So for those of you who are writing, if you wrote question 4.1, you can see that you have used this formula and you got to this final answer. So now we just need to substitute there using those 2 points. So the previous 2 lessons that we did, guys, it was grade 10 stuff, which introduces you to this chapter called Analytical Geometry. So there are common factors in all of these grades. So don't think because it's a grade 10 lesson, then it doesn't concern you. It does, especially if you are doing this chapter for the first time and again you are not confident, because normally When I hold master classes, it means I'm doing a chapter which is common to every grade. So remember, guys, as I'm speaking, I'm giving some of you guys an opportunity to substitute so that you can see if you were going to substitute correctly. So let's see, what is our Y2? Between F and C, which letter comes first? That comes first, this comes second, then these are going to be my second values. What does it mean? It means my Y2 is going to be -2 minus. What is my Y1? Obviously, it's that Y divided by what is X2? X2 is 2 minus. What is X1? X1 is 6. This is equated to -1. So guys, I just want to add this thing to you. The reason why I'm more interested in solving exam papers, as the name of the academy says, it's because I know very well that in class, your teacher has got only enough time to teach you or take you through the introduction. Or most importantly, I am aware that most of the teachers, they just rely on a textbook to teach you guys. But luckily, I've got teachers in this group who are attending my lessons, and they are also able to learn a lot of stuff, and they say they find this channel very useful because with the information that I dish out, they are able to then prepare for their lessons in class and improve their teaching style. So if you are attending my lessons, guys, consider yourself very, very lucky because I'm at a level where the guys set this question paper. So I know exactly what they are thinking when they set these questions, of which it's the level that I want to put you on. You will notice after some months of attending my lessons that you will be on a different level as compared to your mates in class. So just make sure that you stick with us for some time. You will notice some difference after a few months. So good people, I've given you enough time to work out that. So let's see. We've got 4 over 3. This is -2 minus y divided by, what is that? I think this is -4, which is being equals to -1. So you will need to apply your mathematical skills to solve for the y value, of which is something that if you attended my very first lesson during the beginning of this year, you should be at a stage where you are able to solve for the unknown. Remember, solving for the unknown is like solving for x. In your mind, just think you are solving for x. So if you are able to then solve for the unknown, you will never go wrong in mathematics and physical sciences. So let's see. Obviously, the first thing that you can do is to cross multiply. Then you know you've got +4 on the right side because negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4. Then you just divide by the whole of this so that it cancels, which means on this side you are going to divide by 4 over 3. That means on the left you remain with that. So I had to multiply by that so that I remove that denominator. I had to divide by exactly 4 over 3 so that it cancels. So this is where you see that. So remember, guys, you can just punch all of this on a calculator. I think it's going to give you, when that cancels, it's going to give you 3. And again, that means on this side you still have -2 minus y. Then you can transpose. You can take these to the other side, then it becomes positive y, which is equals to, you take these to the other side, then it's -3, which means -2 minus 3 is actually equals to -5. So can you see, guys, we expected a negative value and indeed we got a negative value, which means y is -5. So the actual coordinates of C is actually 6 and -5. So guys, can you see, for those of you who wants to be pilots, it's very, very much important that you are able to fully understand analytical geometry, and again trigonometry. When you can fully understand those, I'm telling you, you are going to be a very good pilot. You will never take people to the wrong directions. Imagine flying Bafana Bafana to Cameroon. Instead of you heading straight to Cameroon, boom, you go to China. And when you get there, just see Chinese people speaking China. And you guys went there for World Cup, and it becomes a disaster, guys. So you'll be on the newspaper saying, let's see, Rivoni took Bafana Bafana to China instead of Cameroon, which is going to be a very, very big problem. So, good people, I'm not sure. Did you all get that? Are you all happy with what I've just explained?
Yes, sir, we are
Yes,
happy.
sir. Yeah, perfect, sir.
Yes, sir.
100%, which means we are not expecting anyone to get confused when this question comes. So remember, it's allocated 3 marks. So you will just get a mark for that step. And again, where can we give you some marks, guys? Obviously, for the final answer, we are going to give you a mark. And I think most importantly, for noticing that or for substituting that part correctly, we are also going to give you a mark. So a mark comes from you noticing that this is also useful in this case, and again, for equating or substituting into that original formula, we give you a mark, and again, your final answer. So quickly, let me give you a tip, a tip, guys, or otherwise I'm not really sure of what to call it, but whatever it is, I just want to make you guys aware of it. I think there it's -5, so let me just remove all of that. So I'm just going to make use of a simple example. So let's say, for example, we've got that line which has got a gradient which is equals to 2, for example. Then we also have that line and it forms 90-degree angle, and the gradient for that one, let's say this is -4. So remember, guys, or maybe let me not give the gradient of that line and say the gradient of that line is unknown. So remember, let's say we have A, we have B, and we have C. I just want to show you a shortcut of what you could have done over there with that calculation of getting that value. So you know that the gradient of AB multiplied by the gradient of BC is equals to -1. So a shortcut to that is for you to say if the gradient of AB is equals to 2, that means the gradient of the line which is perpendicular to that one, first thing first, is negative. And again, because this is 2 over 1, then it means this one is 1 over 2. So that means the gradient of this line, for it to be perpendicular, you just use that gradient, but you write it in the opposite sign, and again, you know this is over 1, then you write 1 over 2. So that means instead of you having to do all that calculation, you are just going to say the gradient of BC is equals to -1 over 2. Then on this side, you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let me see, someone has got their mics unmuted. You know, guys, it's very disturbing that we have people. Analyst Pilile. It's either I'm going to ban this one or just mute their mic. So let me just give another example of which I hope it's going to now make a perfect sense. Let's say we've got a line which is line A, we have B, and then we have another line there. Let's say this is a 90-degree angle, and let's say that that it was 4/3. So this is the gradient of that line. So what I'm saying is, if the gradient of AB, they see the gradient of AB, it's equals to -4/3. That means the gradient of the line perpendicular to that AB, it has to be, I just look at this, I write it in the opposite side. It means it's going to be positive, the opposite sign. Then again, I write that at the top, this at the bottom. So that means this is 3/4. So I'm just saying, guys, if you have a line and you know the gradient, that means the gradient of the other line perpendicular to that one, it's going to be exactly that, but you swap the denominator with the numerator and write it in the opposite sign. Just like with that one over there, straight away, what I mean is that you could have said that minus that, of which we knew it was a -2 minus y over 2 minus 6. Same time, you just equate it to what is it? You just equate it to the gradient of that, but you write it in the opposite sign. Can you see it's positive 4/3? Then you write it in the opposite sign, it's negative. Then you swap there you've got 3, there you've got 4. Then same time, you know this is negative, what is it? It's -4. So that means you have -2, negative that. This is -4. So it's more like you have a -3/4, which is being multiplied by a -4. That cancels, that cancels. Then you have -2 minus y, which is equals to 3. Then you can transpose that to the right. It changes the sign, it becomes positive y. Change that one, it's -2. This changes the sign. Then can you see y is equals to -5? Guys, I'm not sure. Did I confuse you guys, or did it make sense to some of you?
Absolutely makes sense, sir.
It's understood, sir.
So say you mean a gradient of another line is the reciprocal of another gradient, but it's a -1.
No, not necessarily a -1, but with the opposite sign. Let's say with the opposite sign. So, Lerato is saying, if we have the gradient of one line, then the gradient of the other line, which is perpendicular to that line, is the reciprocal. First thing first, is the reciprocal, and again, not with a negative sign, but let's say opposite sign. So that means if we have a line which is 7/4, this word, the reciprocal, it simply means you write this at the bottom, at the top, at the top, at the bottom. Then you have 4/7. The opposite sign, it means negative. Why? Because here the sign was positive and the opposite sign is negative. So the reason why I don't want you to say with a negative Lerato is because in case if you have, let's say, -5/3, let's see the gradient of the other line. So it's going to be the reciprocal, first and first, which is 3/5. And again, you write it with the opposite sign. Then you just leave it as positive. But if we say with a negative, can you see? That means you still have to put it as negative. So just so that we are generally correct in every situation. Let's say the reciprocal and you write it with the opposite sign. Lerato, ujabulile?
Yes, sir.
Nijabulile lo, guys, let's continue. Forget about that. Guys, if you don't get it, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. You
So
got
the next one is
wait, was it a question? Before I move, let's see. So question 4.3 says calculate the size of angle theta, and this question is also allocated let's see, 3 marks. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that you fully understand what the question wants. So because they said calculate, let's see, the size of an angle, it means I must give a number which is in degrees. So that is how you interpret the given question, because the question said calculate the size of the angle. Then you know it's a number in degrees. So don't just say 27. 27 what, guys? We are not sure when you say 27 if you're talking about the age or something on the number line. So as a pilot, you must say to your colleague to say, today we'll be flying at 17 maybe degrees. Then we know the angle at which we should fly. So guys, I had to talk so that I give you some time to think about this problem. So every time, it's either when we start a question or otherwise when we substitute, I try by all means to give you some space to think about it. So let's see. In case if it's confusing, Shreyas, what you need to do is to try and draw the triangle that has got that particular angle that you might be looking for. But there's something interesting there that I'm noticing, guys. Let me just try to draw something. I notice we have that straight line, and I notice we have that line. So let's see. We also have that axis over there. So this is that line that extends up to F. This one, it extends up to C. This one, it extends towards G. I noticed something there to say already we've got an angle there which is 104,04 degrees. What I know is that if I have this, guys, and I have that angle, I can easily find that angle because I know it's going to be 180 degrees minus that particular angle. So that means I'm going to know exactly what that angle is. Is there someone who knows what that angle is, or someone can tell?
75,96.
So someone is saying that angle is 75,96, 100%. So guys, can we not somehow try to find that angle there so that as soon as we know what that angle is, we can say the sum of interior angles of a triangle are equals to 180 degrees. So remember, guys, this type of information, it's not like you have to dream about it. It's not like you have to pray for it. It doesn't come through ancestors, guys. You must attend lessons. You must attend master classes. You must attend lessons that I do for introduction to each and every chapter. So normally, let's say 4 times a month, I might start a new chapter. Then during weekdays, that's when we do exam type of question paper. So I normally do that on weekend in case if I don't have more of a one-on-one lesson. So just in case if you missed my previous lessons, guys, I do one-on-one. Everyone in this group must just make sure to click on the pinned message. In case if it disappeared or you clicked on that cancel, I'll request my admin to bring it again. Click there, you will find important information. So guys, let's see. Is there someone who wants to try in terms of how can we get that angle beta there? Okay, I assume you're still thinking about it. But let me just make you aware of something. Do you guys remember this formula, guys, where we said tan, let's say, because we're talking about beta, the tan angle is equals to the gradient. Do you guys not remember this formula where we said if we have the x-axis, maybe we have the y-axis, and we have a line, that angle there, which is angle beta, we can calculate that angle using this formula. Do you guys not remember that?
Remember it.
So, in case if you forgot, guys, just make sure that you revise that lesson. So, this is what normally happens in mathematics, guys. You get to a point where you understand exactly what is being explained. But after some time, because you've got other subjects to focus on, you do forget, which is something which is normal, guys. It happened to me, it's still happening. If you do something once and you don't keep on practicing, it goes away. So what I like about Telegram is that I'm able to record this lesson so that you guys can catch up. So just make sure that you catch up on those lessons. It is normal to forget, but what matters the most is that from time to time you catch up. So one thing for sure, all of you guys are going to understand everything that is being explained in this lesson, but after some time, if you had to try this question paper on your own, you might have some difficulties there and there. So what I'm saying in short is that that angle beta, we can calculate it using this formula to say angle beta is equals to the gradient of that line, which is FG. So we do know very well that the gradient of FG is 4/3. So we can find the second function of that angle, of that gradient. So what is that, guys?
59, sir.
So someone says 59. Is it exactly 59 with no decimal?
It's 59,03, sir.
Remember, guys, that decimal is very, very much important. So can you see Madam Speaker Bazo? You want to take us to Ethiopia. So with just that 0.3, we are not going to
3.
land on
So it's
on the airport.
53,13.
Hey,
53,
guys,
sir.
why is it like now I'm the one who wants to take you to Malawi, guys?
53,13, sir.
This is not where we are going, guys. We are going to Spain. So,
So it's
ladies and gentlemen,
13.
wait, guys, what am I writing incorrectly
It's
there? Let me just.
53,13, sir.
53,13.
Oh yes, 53,13. 53,13. So before I forget, I wanted to say it is very much important that we write that decimal. Why? Because this is not the final answer. So remember, what we are calculating is actually that angle theta, because that is what the question wants us to calculate. So you guys are saying 53,13 degrees. So we have that angle degrees. We have that angle. We have that angle. So can we now calculate angle theta, guys? What is angle theta? Anyone who wants to give it a try, guys?
It's 50,9.
How do you get 50,9 Lerato?
I said 180 minus 53,13 minus 75,96.
So remember, guys, just like she's explaining, so the sum of the interior angles of a triangle are equals to 180 degrees. So it's more like this angle plus that angle is equals to 180. So you have theta plus 53,13 plus 76,96 is equals to 180 degrees. So it's just to transpose. Then you have 180 degrees minus 53,13 degrees minus, let's see, 75,96 degrees. Then what is the size of angle theta? You said 50, what is it?
91 degree.
50,91 degrees. Guys, are you all happy? Did it make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, good people,
So,
just make sure that at all times when you come across this type of questions, you are able to notice and apply all the tactics. So, it's not really easy. The examiner here tries to be tricky, but you just need to be aware of all different methods which are applicable to this chapter. Then you can apply all of those. Expect this in your question paper for paper 2 in June. So let's see, guys, where are you expecting some marks? So I'm going to give you a mark over there. Good people, I'm going to give you a mark for that angle over there. And again, for your final answer, I'm also going to give you a mark. So that's how you score yourself 3 marks. So guys, can we now move to the last question? I'm sure we are all on the same page at this point in time. Let's see. I'm removing all of these. So there we are on 4.4. Mustn't lose that information, guys. This is -5 and we are now on question 4.4. So question 4.4 says calculate the length of NC. This is an interesting question, guys. They want you to calculate the length of NC. Let's see. What length are they talking about? So this is the length that they are talking about. It looks a little bit tricky, but I think if I can draw all that I know with regards to that triangle, I'm sure I can notice something, guys. So okay, let me just remove all of this. Can someone mute their mic, guys? Can someone please mute your mic? Let's see. We have this. We have that. Let me just draw a smaller one so that I've got space. Guys, who's got their mics unmuted? So Guys, I think I lost connection as a result of I think there's a load shedding, so I might have lost some connection. But are we now back on track? Is everyone? Are you guys able to see over there?
Yes.
Guys, we are now back on track now. Okay, 100%. So let's quickly sort out these questions. I think I had some difficulties with the network, and I'm hoping this lesson is still recording. Let me just quickly check. Yes. Guys, we are set. So I was saying there we know we've got a 90-degree angle there. What else do we know, guys? Do you guys agree that we can use that angle that we just calculated there? What was that angle? You said is 50, comma what?
9-1.
50,91.
50,91 degrees. So remember, guys, the moment you have a right angled triangle, what does it mean? In other words,
Trig ratios.
Can use trig ratios, sir?
Use trig ratios.
it means we can use trig ratio, sine angle, cos angle, tan angle. So because we've got the angle and we have sides, let's try to formulate. But the question is, which trig ratio is going to be suitable for us to determine the length of NC? But firstly, which one is adjacent, which one is opposite, which one is hypotenuse? Bomolaus, are you there? Can someone assist us in terms of which side is adjacent, which one is opposite, which one is hypotenuse?
NC is an hypotenuse.
And FC is
NC
opposite.
is what?
Hypotenuse.
Oh,
Is
NC there is hypotenuse. Then
FC is the opposite side, and NL or FN
FC
is
is opposite.
FN is adjacent.
Okay, FN is adjacent. So which trig ratio is suitable for this triangle? Are you still there, guys? Which trig ratio is suitable for this triangle, for this right angled triangle?
Sine angle.
Do you all guys agree?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
100%. So let's formulate. That means sine angle is going to be a opposite over hypotenuse. What is opposite? Opposite is FC over NC or CF over CN. Doesn't really matter that much. So can you see, guys? We can now substitute. We have sine of 50,91 degrees, which is equals to. Here comes a problem, guys. Can you see? We do not have the distance of FC and we are looking for the distance of NC. But why not calculate the distance of FC, Shreyas? Because we do have the coordinates of F and the coordinates of C. So the danger with this question is that if you got that value incorrectly, then it means For this question, you are not going to get maximum marks. So let's substitute, guys. Let's substitute. We now have a what is y2? I'm not going to write the formula, but we know y2. Maybe let's assume it to be, let's say, negative 2. It doesn't matter whether you start with y2 minus y1 or x2 minus x1. So there we've got negative 2 there minus into negative 5. Then you close, you squared plus the x values there. You've got 2 minus 6, close that. So what is an answer to that question, which is going to be the distance for that? Let's see. Square root of negative 2 plus that squared plus into 2 minus 6 squared. So I'm getting 5. I'm not sure if you guys are also getting 5. Can someone just confirm on your side?
5, sir.
5.
Yes, it's 5.
5, sir.
Okay,
Yes, it's 5.
100%. So can you guys see? We therefore have sine of 50,91, which is equals to what is it? FC being 5 over NC. So we can easily calculate now. So you need to show this step, guys, where you are calculating that distance, because you might find that I'm going to also give you some mark for that calculation. So this is the perfect procedure to follow, because you firstly start with what the question wants you to calculate. You formulate. After you have formulated, then you notice something is missing. If it's missing, check what information you have, then calculate for it. Let's see. So can you see, guys, you now need to solve for the unknown. So you can cross multiply. That means you have NC multiplied by 50,91, which is equals to 5. So that means NC is going to be 5 divided by sine of 50,91. What answer are we getting there, good people?
It's 6,51, sir.
What is it?
6,51 units.
6,51 units. Are we all getting the same answer there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me check. Is there someone who's able to see how many marks this question is allocated?
4, sir.
4,
Yes.
sir.
4 is a lot of marks. So that means I think this question as a whole is allocated 12 marks. 12 marks, it makes huge difference, guys. So just make sure that there you show all the steps. So for you to substitute into the distance formula, guys, I'm definitely going to give you a mark there. That's where you score your first mark. Let me just try to get there. I'm definitely going to give you a mark. The second mark I'm going to give you for correctly finding the length of FC. This is the length of the distance of FC. I'll definitely give you a mark over there. Good people, for correct construction of a formula, I'm going to give you a mark where you substituted that correctly, that, and that correctly. For that, I'm going to give you a mark. And again, let's see, guys. What did you guys say this length is? Is it 6,51?
6,44.
I'm
Get
not sure.
6,44, sir.
It has to be 6,44. Lerato, can you give us a sermon about trigonometry and the calculator? Can you take out that verse?
The calculator must always be in a degree mode.
Lerato, can you speak louder and tell us what Mateo, what is it? Mateo trigonometry, verse calculator. What is it saying? Can you speak louder?
The calculator must always be in a degree mode.
Good people, make sure that your calculator is in the degree mode. So I think before you guys write your mathematics exam and also physical sciences, we should just have our mini nice prayer. By a prayer, I mean we take out all the verses that are necessary. So it's more like we remind each other in terms of important things to remember, such as this one of your calculator, and again for trigonometry. We just browse through discussing to say if you are given this and the question may be looking for this and whatever. Can we call that our mini prayer, guys? Can we agree to that, to say it is necessary to have that kind of a prayer, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's necessary.
Yes, please, before our June exam.
Yes, sir, it's necessary.
100%. So mathematics for physical sciences will have that type of a mini prayer. I know some of you guys at 12 o'clock, that's where you'll be having that biggest prayer where you invite your God. So just make sure that you do that. And again, from our side, we also do the same by reminding each other in terms of what to remember. Because sometimes, guys, you can prepare for the whole year. Prepare on the weekends, during holidays and everything, but you just forget to put your calculator on degree mode and you just get wrong answers. So that means that annual sweat it's gone down the drain. So good people, just make sure that we just form a community of us in the spirit of mathematics and physical sciences. Good people, I hope everyone is happy with today's lesson. Guys, I think for tomorrow we'll be doing the last question for this thing. We'll be doing the last question for analytical geometry. On Friday, we might also conclude with Newton's law with just one last question. Then from there, next week, we should be starting something new. So, guys, have a very good night. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Peace out.
Thank,
Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir.